Well, hi there. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jen Doling, and I am here today with a very special guest. I know I say that about a lot of my guests, but this one really, you guys, you were first on my list.
Thank you.
This is Charles Miller, aka Tula. And in my opinion, these are my words, I believe you are the original Queen of Fort Wayne. And it is an honor to be here.
Thank you.
And you are quite an amazing person, and I'm absolutely honored that you trust me to do this and bring me in your home to do this. So we're kind of on the road today with my show, and it's okay to call you Charles or Tula, is that right?
Call me anything. Not late for supper.
Very nice, very nice. But you also, your pronouns are he and she.
Right.
Because you have a whole persona.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know this, but when you do drag, it is an entire persona. You are Tula as well.
Right.
Did you know that when you,
Yes.
you knew that this was going to carry with you the rest of your life?
Yes. He, she.
So, Charles, I want to start with, tell me what it was like to be a drag queen in the 70s.
Well, being a drag queen or telling you what happened with me in the 70s?
I want it all.
Okay.
I just want you to talk.
Well, let me tell you that I was working as a real woman at a local bar in Fort Wayne, the Raskeller, for the Klein Richards. And one of the dancers was a lesbian who I fell in love with. And we got talking and we said, Fort Wayne needs a gay bar. Fort Wayne needs a gay bar. And I said, it'll never happen.
But this is the 70s.
This is the 70s.
This is nobody wants a gay bar in the 70s. Nobody.
And in the 70s, there was probably about 4 people that were, I call them peacocks. We were wild and the bleached hair and the flipped hands and stuff. But I was working, and we got talking, and we went down Main Street, and we saw a for sale sign on the old theater bar, and I said, "That's going to be it. That's where we're going to go."
How did you okay, let's backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
How did you have, first of all, the capital to start a bar?
We didn't.
And the idea, I mean, did you have bar experience? Where did this come from?
I did have bar experience.
Okay.
I mean, I had that. But how we got the thing, my fatal charm, when I was talking to the owner of the place, made a deal with us on a contract. We didn't have to have a lot of money to put down. And we made a lot of money. And we got the bar. And it was so exciting. We went and saw it at 11 o'clock in the afternoon. At 6 o'clock it was ours.
Can't do that now in 2022.
No. We didn't have all the lawyer stuff and that going on. We did have the alcoholic beverage thing. And we went through hell.
And this is in Fort Wayne, Indiana, by the way. You are born and raised in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Born and raised in Fort Wayne all my life.
Mm-hmm.
And the bar had been owned by a minister's son, and also one of the owners was a city councilman, Luther Patrick. And we're there getting all set up, and the next thing we know, the taxmen come up. On our second day there, I think it was.
Your second day, wow.
And they put a sign up, "We can't open because there's back taxes." Well, everybody said, "We told you so, we told you so." And they told us wrong. The taxes were not ours. The taxes belonged to Luther Patrick, the city councilman, who hadn't paid the taxes for the bar. So that was all irrelevant. So we got started.
That was your first problem.
Right. And Fort Wayne in the 70s, they had a little drag show put together. Some really talented kids, Vonda Lee and Tammy Richards. And there was a bar on Maumee Street called Tom's. And he was a straight man. And they performed on a piece of plywood with 6 cases of beer under it. And Tom, the owner, was taking pictures of them and showing them around to all of the factory workers. Look at these queers, that kind of thing. Because back then, the word gay wasn't.
The word drag queen.
Well, even that. Female impersonator.
So I'm going to stop you real quick. I'm more impressed that you were a drag queen in the set. You were a man that dressed like a woman.
Exactly.
I'm more impressed that you were a drag queen than you were a gay man in the 70s.
Well, I was more impressed that I was a female impersonator, not a drag queen.
What is the difference?
There's a lot.
I do not know. Please tell
Back
me.
in the day, drag queens were the whores of the street, and people that were really serious about entertaining were female impersonators. We were a whole different ballgame.
Is it still like that?
No.
Can you compare it to today? Can you help the audience understand
Well,
the
I'm
difference?
sure there's a lot of drag queen whores out there, so I'm not going to call any names today, but I probably could.
I should have warned you about Tula. She's fearless.
And I don't know if I'm fearless, but I'm painfully honest.
I love that about you.
And anyway, one thing led to another. They wanted a place to work. Well, this bar, Tulisa's, which was a bar in an old house with a beautiful fresco painting on the wall that was very valuable. And then there was a courtyard with a male blooming magnolia tree in the courtyard. And then there was a barn, a great big barn that had a New York-sized stage with a Northwestern light board that had all this lighting stuff on it. And it had a runway, and it was stacked, so it was a very theatrical.
Was it a bar before you bought it?
Yes.
It was a
yeah,
bar
and
already.
they did plays there. And there was a theater, the theater bar, that's what it was called.
Okay.
So,
I didn't know they had those back then, like, thought that was a new thing.
Well, but very high class,
Okay,
was that kind
gotcha.
of thing. So everybody warned me, said, you're going to have nothing but trouble, and blah, blah, blah. I said, I'm ready for the trouble. Let's do this. So
You were in your 30s at this time, right?
I don't know. I was old enough to know what I was doing and scared to death, but I did it.
Sure.
And because Anna, who was my partner, God love her, she wanted to make a quick dollar, but she wanted a new car. I didn't need a new car. I didn't want a new car, and I wanted a place for these drag queens to come and get to perform, because it was an art to me.
It's definitely an art. I'm just still wondering, how do you recruit people in the 70s?
Well,
How does this happen?
they had a little cliques. I mean, that little things were going on, and that's why I was trying to say, if we were to start in the 50s and 60s going up to there, you would see a Nelly boy maybe once in a while, and I can count 4.
Nelly.
There was myself.
Can you define
Feminine, effeminine.
Okay.
Myself, Peaches, Billy, and there was a kid named Larry, I can't remember his name. And we were out and running up and down the streets.
Look, I know you can find a gay man, but a gay man that also wants to dress as a woman. I hate to just
Oh,
put
no,
it
that's
that way,
fine. But Fort Wayne wasn't ready for any of that.
no.
And I had colored hair like that. Now, this was back in the 70s. And I'd walk down the street, and older gay men who weren't out to anybody would cross the street to avoid us, because they didn't know if we were going to go off on a little binge or not of shaming them. So we weren't well liked. However, there were a few that took a liking to me and were very supportive of me, and I was their little brother. So I got by with murder. And so anyway, we got into the bar, and there was some Afro-American entertainers out of this world, unbelievable, and they had no place to go. And so I put a show together like that. Bam, 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 we can do this. I'm still working at the Rathskeller. And
That's a bar, right?
That's the bar, and Anna was working there too. So we were running back and forth to make sure everything was going. And then we had opening night, and a lot of gay people came. They wanted to see what it was all about. And then the next thing I know, I'm sitting home. I always went home every day at 4 o'clock to change to come back to work at 7. Now if they think I'm leaving something out, they can call us and ask us, and we'll fill it in. But anyway, I was sitting home getting ready to come back to work, and my bartender called me and said, there's some men down here that want change for $50 bills, and I don't have that kind of change. And I said, oh, I understand. I said, well, hold on, I'll be down. And I had, the pretzel rods that sit on bars that people buy for a dime a piece and stuff like that.
Sure.
Well, they'd buy one and they would hand you a $50 bill. Well, we couldn't do that. So we go down there, and there's these 4 men, and and I thought, oh God, here comes something. And so I got behind the bar and I said, what's the problem here? Because I wasn't afraid of Jesus. And I was going to see what they were all about. She won't give us change. She won't let us buy one of these. I said, we don't have change for a $50 bill. And you mean, and I said, I'm not going to argue with you. I said, I suggest you leave. So they said, why? I said, because you're disrupting my business. And I reached for a can of mace, like a fool. And he says, what are you going to do with that? Eat it? And I says, no, but you're going to if you don't get out of my face. And the next thing I know, they asked me to come out from behind the bar. And they didn't identify themselves, but they said they were the FBI and the Vice Squad.
What?
And all this stuff, and they were.
Oh.
And they get me to the door, and the drag queens were running back and forth, you know, from breaking the show and everything, and didn't know what was going on. So the one policeman, or he was with the ATF, he had a Magnum gun. I don't know if that's what you call them, but to me it was. And it was this big. And he put it to my head.
What?
And I was petrified, but yet I wasn't petrified. I didn't know whether I should fall or make a sudden move if he was going to shoot me. You know, I didn't know exactly what the outcome was.
I still don't understand why he put a gun to your head.
Because I was a smartass.
Oh, okay.
I confronted him. And he's a policeman. You don't confront policemen.
Right.
Guess who did? And so they had this little powwow and arguing. So they decided to search us, and they got one drag queen down and put their shoe on her neck and stuff like that. We had our own Stonewall right here in Fort Wayne, and I hope that people realize what Stonewall was and that the drag queens took on the police. I took on the police.
Yes, you did.
I was not afraid of them, and I had the mayor out of bed. I had the city controller out of bed. I had Father O'Connor out of bed from the Human Rights Commission, and I had the FBI there, and I had them all come. And just as we're still arguing with them and they're trying to raise hell, I told them to come over into the theater, and I had gotten them over into the theater, and we locked the doors. Well, good idea, bad idea. And all of a sudden I hear all this awful pounding, and they were trying to get out the front door. And just as they broke the door down, WANE TV was there shooting it all. So they got it on film. And so I was so thrilled. So anyway, I thought, this is so silly to get so upset about a gay bar, and that's what bothered them. They wanted me because I was gay.
That is what bothered them.
And they wanted me because they knew that my best friend was a black doctor, and that was none of their business. And they were going to try to make an example out of me. And I said, well, let's see who does this first, you know. And I argued with them because I still was not in the wrong for anything I was doing. We had our license.
You have a legal business.
Right, and it was. So I thought, you know, there has to be a way. This story is a little condensed, trust me, but
okay.
We had to, I had to do something to let everybody in God's name know that we weren't a bunch of perverts or child molesters, that we had a very legitimate, beautiful show that was not offensive to anyone.
But that's not how they think.
No, they didn't think that way. So I wrote a letter, a very nice letter. I sent them to every judge in Fort Wayne, every probation officer, every police officer that was in power, the FBI, and some other government officials. And I invited them all down to see the show. And it packed. I mean, everybody.
Wow.
God's name. These are straight people now. Straight people. And
quotation marks, that's great.
and they came in and the place was packed, and I'm going, oh my God. Well, one of my big songs back then was Kate Smith's God Bless America. So we all came out on stage carrying American flags and doing God Bless America, and why wouldn't they? And they went nuts. They went nuts.
Wow.
They saw that we were human, sort of. So they watched the show.
Sort of, you are.
And
they saw how much of an actual show.
And it was a show.
Yes,
And it moved. It just,
right.
The music was good. The sound was good. The runway was fun. And that the gay people that was smattered through were tipping us, you know. And so some of them got into it.
I think that's what people don't understand is that drag is a show.
Yes.
Every drag queen or king is different from the next.
Right.
Doesn't mean they're gay. It doesn't mean they want to be a woman or a man. It just means it's a show. Now, some do. Some live as a woman. Whatever. Everybody's story is different.
Everyone is different.
Yep.
So anyway, after it was over, I noticed that each day there was a couple of these people that I had seen at that show wandered in to get a drink. And can we get reservations,
Wow.
So that's picked up. So that's where I made my connection between the people of Fort Wayne, the straight community, and the gay community by inviting them and
You
show.
united them.
Right, and they didn't realize that back then. They don't realize it today. You got to give a little to get a little.
Unite.
And I did that, and I was really proud of that because those people that I met there were people that became donors to our benefits. They were ones that give us anything for fundraising. It made my
Wow.
begging easy when I was doing all that stuff. So that went on and on and on. Of course, the 70s was a drug culture.
Isn't every culture?
Well, back then more so. But the great thing about not the great thing, there's nothing great about drugs, trust me. I was a prescription drug addict. And
Pause here real quick. And all right. Thank you for that brief pause. Good old batteries and cameras. I'm going to start you back up where we were at, Tula. You were talking about uniting the police and the community to your bar, Tulisa's, by the way, that's the name of it.
Tulisa's, and then it changed to...
Oh, it did?
Tulisa's was... Our Tulisa's better than one because my friend's name that was a partner was Annalisa. So we always said our Tulisa's better than one.
Annalisa. How did you get Tula, by the way? How did you come up
I
with that?
found that in a dressing gown in an old secondhand store. This was a beautiful peau de soie night robe, and it was designed by Tula, and I loved it. And I've been every kind of Tula. Tula the Texas.
What is Tula? What is that?
It's a mountain in Russia, and it's a mountain in Fort Wayne. It seems like sometimes.
Oh.
But anyway, so we made this connection between the gay community and the straight community, which I was thrilled about.
Yeah.
And they came to us. So anyway, the thing that happened after that was they started sending undercover people in because we had dope. We had dope.
Undercover. Yeah, I'm sure they enjoyed
Charles
that.
had dope. Well, this is still all in the 70s. I went to prison. I gave...
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Well, it's a part of this story.
Okay.
This young undercover man and a confidential informant, and the stories that go with that. I mean, we could go on and on. The things that I found afterwards. In fact, the policeman that shot or held the gun to my head, he just recently died. And I asked the people that are writing my book if I could go confront him. I said I want to go ask him what he was thinking when he went through that, but I didn't get to do it. But that's okay, God knows.
I mean, he's elderly too, right? I mean,
Well, he wasn't that elderly.
So he died kind of young then?
Yeah, sort of.
Wow.
I'm not going to say more about him because
Okay.
I think his wife's still living. But anyway, they sent all these good-looking undercover cops in, and they're snitches because that's the way they work. Well, this one, I'm an actress.
Sure.
So I went all out for him. I made him so damn nervous. The snitch, I let him borrow my car. I let him wear my diamond rings, everything. Well, one night, I says, I'm going to get this man, this undercover cop. And I followed him everywhere. God's name. He ended up, because he couldn't get away from me, in the rescue mission.
Okay.
Okay? So one thing led to another, and there's so many little things of the story that are also important. The man that was claimed to be in love with me was bringing me drugs, and in the meantime he was feeding information to this guy. And I gave this really good-looking policeman one half of a Quaalude, which is the size of an aspirin. And he claims he took it. And my car, which was in Columbia City, and had a fourth of a bag of marijuana in it. So they arrested my car, hence coming to get me.
Ugh.
So anyway, I went to prison, and I'm not going to lie. I was guilty. I did something wrong. I did give him the drug.
Okay,
And-
so what were you charged with?
Oh my God, the Schedule 1 narcotic thing. I forget what the charges were, but I thought I had the papers I was going to show you. But anyway, what they did, the judge in Columbia City found me guilty, so I was convicted of a felon. So when they brought me back here to go in front of Judge Hines, he had no choice, as bad as he didn't want to, because I was a convicted felon. So I got, I got 12 years.
What?
And I did 3.5 years of it.
For the Quaaludes and the marijuana.
It. And my lawyers, it cost $17,000 back in the 70s to go to prison.
Hold on. I still want to know, they were in your car, or were you selling to the officer?
I was giving them.
So you didn't even technically sell them?
No, I didn't. And he didn't technically take it. Because when they came in the thing, they showed the thing. I said, that's not a Quaalude, you know. And I had an ivory Quaalude necklace. They took that from me and everything. However, I said, you know, I did this, so I'm going to go. I'm going to go to prison. And I'd made up my mind, and I was being so careful because my mother wasn't in the best of health, and I knew it was going to kill her. But I did do wrong. And also, by me going to prison, I saved a lot of gay people from going to prison, plus some prominent people.
You basically...
Because I wouldn't tell on them.
You wouldn't tell on them.
They wanted me to tell about the doctors and all this stuff. I wasn't even getting the drugs from a doctor. I was getting them from the drug salesman. They come in and say, oh, look, here's a bottle of Quaaludes for you. Here, give a bottle to the doc and tell him to start writing prescription.
You have to backtrack real quick. First of all, what are Quaaludes?
It's a sleeping pill. It's a hypnotic, and you fall in love.
So it is a prescription.
Oh, yes.
Okay, all right. And then I'm going to ask you, how was your mom? Was she supportive in all this, or what was her thoughts?
She was scared to death, and they were too when they came to arrest me. My mother had a pacemaker, and every time it ticked, they had little marijuana necklaces or were transmitters. She kept cutting them off. So they finally got so fed up with waiting on me, they said, can we step out on the porch? We got some good news and some bad news. I said, lay it on me. Well, I'm not trying to get ahead of this. This is also an important part of what happened. While they were out there talking to me, my friend, this girlfriend, came over and bought a jar of biamphetamine pills and put the money under the bed where I told her to do it and walked right past the cops. They couldn't do anything because they couldn't let me go. They were afraid I was going to run. So she got away with it. And my mother's getting up, and she's sort of was feisty like me, but so sweet. She said, you damn fool. I told her, I said, they told them to be careful, telling her they're going to arrest me because of her heart. They didn't want something to happen to her. And I'm just yelling out, call my brother, call the lawyer, you know, da-da-da-da-da. We had a lawyer and all that. And she did. And then she came to the door and they said, we're going to take your son. And of course they handcuffed me. Every police car in Fort Wayne was out in front of my house there on Lake Avenue. And she said, you son of a bitch, you ate my vegetable soup. You know, she fed them. They were nice guys. I brought them home. You know, and she was so nice to them.
Were they like out to get you, do you think?
Oh, yeah, because I worked for a black doctor and I was gay. And they told me
You're
that.
Owner of a gay bar.
An owner of a gay bar.
And you dress in women's clothes.
And all of that.
All of it.
And they pushed me in the... I'll never forget George Lazoff. Nasty, nasty detective. And he says, I finally got you. And I went, not for long. And he didn't like that. So when they got down there, my brother was already there. And they said, we don't have him. And he said, there's his watch and his rings laying right there. Where is he? You know, so they had no choice but to get me. And he called Gene Markey, who was big time bondsman back then. And so I was out, you know.
Wow,
so.
Yeah.
But anyway.
How long did you actually do was it jail or prison?
I was in prison. I did all the time.
How much? Go ahead. How long were you in prison?
I was there from 78 until 83.
Okay, can we talk about prison for a little bit? Like, how was that? What was that like?
Yeah, but let me just finish up about. Oh, we can talk about that.
I want to know what prison was like for a gay man
Okay, I'm going to
in
tell
the
you.
70s.
I'm going to tell you something. I was so fortunate because I had asked people that had been there, and I got
Did your research?
Yes, I did, and I went to Westfield Correctional Center, which was a male and female prison.
Okay.
And when I got there, they were taking us through, and when I got to my bunk, there was some Hershey bars, a 6-pack of Coca-Cola, a bag of potato chips, and I went, whoa, just like that.
Wow.
Whoever this is, get it off my bed.
Oh.
I'm not interested in love. I don't need a man. I don't need anything. Get this.
Hey.
And so here comes the start. Oh, we got a tough one, huh? It's not a tough one, but get that stuff out of my bed. And he says, well, I don't think so. I said, well, I think so. So I threw it on the floor. Of course, the consequence was I had to scrub the damn floor with a toothbrush and all the gauze. So anyway, they didn't know what to do with me because I had such a great background in so many different things.
Yeah.
So they couldn't let me work in the medical department, which they begged for me to do.
And you've worked in the medical field, by the way.
Right, and they could have, I could have been a great helper if they didn't want that. And so I ended up working for the warden. And I was set in on their meetings. And I told them how people were escaping.
You're like some real Shawshank Redemption going on there.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because everybody said, you see that movie, that's Tula. That's so funny. Everybody, it's my favorite movie. And anyway, I did the officers' logbooks, which I wasn't supposed to do. I did their payroll, which I wasn't supposed to do. I got marijuana from them. I saw more drugs in prison than I saw on the street. And then I was the only inmate with a telephone. Because I was the only inmate that could go in where the girls were. The girls would give me little bottles of cologne and mascara and stuff, and I'd be, Miss Miller, where are you going today? All dressed up, which was fun. I played softball, broke out several windows. They threatened to put me in the
Prison sounded like it was fun.
Well,
for you.
It wasn't fun for everybody, and I was scared to death. I never counted the days, and I love to do research. I've always loved research as a thing. So I got hooked up with the law library, and I got about 8 people out of prison, poor people, on a trial rule 60, which their families didn't know about. They didn't know about. I researched it, and the judge in Laporte, I think they said that I had 8 people from me doing their thing over to get them out, which I was very, very proud of. So they still didn't know what to do with me. So they put me in what was called pre-release center, where they brought all the prisoners from all the other prisons, and they thought I was an officer. I got to wear a V-neck sweater, and when they come inside, put your contraband over here. If you got any clothes that don't belong to you, put it over here, And they thought I was an officer. So, officer, can I said, no question. I'm not answering any question. Well, one of the boys that was in the group, the last group that came in, was one of the ones that turned me in, and he was petrified. Is everything cool with us? I said, no. He said, can you get me a bed close to you? I said, no, because I assigned the beds and everything in pre-release. But anyway, I went through pre-release.
Wait, he was in prison too?
Yes.
I just caught that, guys. Yeah, I just caught that.
They brought prisoners in from Michigan City.
What was he in for?
Drugs. And so anyway, when they did that, I was doing all these jobs that an officer would be doing.
Yeah.
So anyway, they sent me to pre-release. Mr. Carter, you just love me. And I did so much work for them. They were dumb. And I hate to say that. They were from Gary, Indiana. They weren't educated. They didn't know how to do it. And I was good at that stuff. I thought,
they liked you in prison, I bet.
But they did. And that's what I'm going to tell you. I'm the first inmate, and I tried to find it for you. I was the first inmate ever in the state of Indiana Department of Correction was referred for a job. And if my mother wouldn't have been sick, I'd probably been still up there.
So you mean a job after you got out of prison? Yeah. That's impressive. And that's really impressive.
They wanted me to take over the work.
Who was running your bar at this time?
We've left out that little square of the story. But they when I went to do work release, they asked me to take a lieutenant's test to see where I tested out, and I tested out for a lieutenant's job with a real high rating, which they were really happy. I got the nicest letter from the Department of Correction from that. But okay, let's back up to the bar. What happened to the bar?
While you were in prison, in other words, right?
I was on my way, and in '78 I was in love all this time with an asshole, and as I said to you earlier, love isn't a hard-on. I just thought you had to buy love, and people wanted to be next to me because I was the bar owner.
You're saying you thought you had to buy love back then?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
And you did. I mean, to find somebody you wanted, because it wasn't as open as it is now.
Oh, that is true.
I mean, there
That
were
is true,
people,
yeah.
so they were real careful. So I saw this guy and fell in love with him, and he did all this stuff for me, and I did all this stuff for him, and spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I knew what I was doing.
We've all been there.
I knew what I was doing. And in fact, he had to come back. He's something to do with some big thing like A&A. And they brought him back not too awful long ago, because we were on Harrison Street Bar, and he had to come in and ask me if he ever done anything wrong or did I dislike him for anything.
Aww.
And I said, well, I think giving up several years of my life in prison for you is count on it. So
Wow.
I said, you do what you want. So he wanted to buy the bar, him and his father. I've never gotten the money for it.
Oh.
So, but anyway, it was out of my life. I said, duh. And that's when I started taking care of my mother, who was
Okay.
very sick.
Okay.
So basically, I've left out some little things about the bar. And if you have a mailing address, tell them to send you the questions. I'll be glad, and they can call me, and I'll fill in anything.
I'll put my email in. I even have a P.O. box, by the
And
way, so
I'll
people
tell
can mail me
them
stuff too.
anything that they need filled in or sound a little ridiculous to them.
And then people will be able to comment on this video as well.
The thing that I want to tell everybody that we're talking to today, if I tell you something, just this little stack is not even a third
Oh, yes.
of my life, but it will cement everything I'm telling you.
Yeah, everything around here too. I know you can't see them on the camera, but wonderful pictures of your life.
These are the receipts.
Yes.
Receipts. I'm not a liar. I'm painfully honest. A lot of people hated me for that, and that's okay. I don't care. That's your right to love me or hate me.
Yeah.
I tried to be fair with everybody, and I think I have been fair with everybody.
Absolutely. With that said, I would like to talk about your Justice Award now.
Okay, that I'm real happy about Wally Painter. In fact, I tried to get a letter and a copy of his
How long
stuff.
after, like what year is this Justice Award?
I'm embarrassed to say, I can't remember, but he'll know. Tell us.
Do you want to pull it out? You got it right there.
No, that's the Jefferson Award.
He's got more awards, guys. I didn't even. I'm sorry, I got all your awards confused.
Okay, well, let's start with the Justice Award.
Please do. I'm the one that's confused. I apologize.
That's very important. I
Yes.
got the Justice Award. I was on the board of director of Up the Stairs Community Center, which was a gay and lesbian thing, and I got P.J. Smith, who was the captain of the police department, to come and talk to a gay group of people. Never been done. And we got to ask him questions.
Wow, that's actually.
And so
you're right.
the Justice Award, which is a very important award from Indianapolis, said, this has to go to Charles. He brought them together, the police and the...
Please educate me on what the actual Justice Award is and
Justice-
why
well,
you got it, is what I'm trying to...
Justice is an organization that fights for our rights for everything and trying to cement things and make things work better. Right back then, no place in Indiana had rapport with the police department. I made rapport with the police department.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
And so, due to that, I won the Justice Award.
And can you tell me around about what year that was?
That would have been in 80, maybe around 85.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So, if you don't mind, would you explain the difference between the Justice Award that you just explained
And the Jefferson Award.
and the Jefferson Award? Help us understand.
Okay, the Jefferson Award, now I do have the exact date of that, I think, The Justice Award, or the, excuse me,
Jefferson Award.
the Jefferson Award was started by Jacqueline Kennedy and Robert Taft, and it's a national thing, and it's very interesting. Here's 1998 was when I got the Jefferson Award. So
it's just the mailman.
oh,
No problem.
oh, it might be my package.
We'll get that here in a little bit. No
Okay.
problem.
So anyway, I didn't even know I'd been nominated for it, and
And what is it exactly? We're still talking about the Jefferson Award
okay,
now.
the Jefferson Award are given to people who have done outstanding things in their community. I got this for my work with AIDS and HIV.
Oh wow. Okay.
It had nothing to do
I understand.
with the police.
We'll talk about that later. AIDS topic's very dear to your heart. We will
very.
definitely get
But
to that.
I'll
here.
show them the Jefferson Award, which is very lovely.
Can I hold it?
Yep. And as you can see, it's from Robert Taft and am I still there?
It's pretty neat. It's the other side. In recognition of outstanding public service. Doesn't have the date on it. It's pretty neat. I'll get your package. You keep talking. It's okay. We can get packages while we're talking.
Okay. And anyway, I was so thrilled and happy and stunned. And my sister, my little baby sister, who had tried for a Jefferson Award, who had done a bunch of work. That's what it was, wasn't it?
You got a package.
Good. She tried so hard to get a Jefferson Award, and I went to. She went to the dinner with me that they had afterwards, and I gave my little speech. Melissa Long and
I'm familiar with her, yeah.
Edwards, they were the ones that presented it to me, and she was the one that did my interview. And so when I got done at the end, I looked over at my little sister and I went, na 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 na, which was very childish, but they got a big kick out of it.
You have a sister and a brother?
I had 3 sisters, and there are 5 boys, and they're all dead, but me, and I have a brother older than me, and a baby brother. There's 3 of us left.
Was your family very supportive of you your whole
Oh,
life?
Why, yes, they were.
How did you manage that?
Because
That's amazing.
I was little Dickie Miller, and I was going to be an entertainer, and my dad would come up and say, "Oh my God, Helen, go look at your son, his hair is pink." And that was way back before you.
I'm impressed with your family. That
My dad, I guess one of the greatest things that I did learn was I told him that I was doing a drag, and he says, "Well, let me tell you a story." And my father was in the Rainbow Division that went to Paris, France during the World War I.
What is that?
The Rainbow Division, that was a big organization that went to Normandy and all of that over there, and he was in that. And he says, "I saw many female impersonators." And I said, "Oh, just a minute." And I walked upstairs, and of course, in my hidden little stash of stuff I had these pictures of these, and he knew who they were, some of them. You remember, he says, "Oh, that one made costumes out of crepe paper." I said, "Yeah, and still does." So he was, whatever you're going to do, be good. And then I was in the ballet. I was one of the first American male to do a ballet thing. And he and my one brother came to see me in the ballet, which was, I played a female, the wicked stepmother. And
I'm gonna stop you real quick because there's one of these questions on my list here. By the way, I have like lots of questions for you, random too. Did you make your own costumes? Like, how did you do that?
my first costumes that I had a friend, Eddie Julian, who did them. And then my niece made them. And then I met a man who just fell in love with me on stage and did all my costumes.
What about shoes?
Shoes? I went to every place, God's name. But I got them. There were big shoes back then.
I'm in all of that.
One of the things I'm going to put on in True in Port Wayne is there was a shoe store over on Broadway where we used to get them, where Munchies and that was right there, right around the corner there was a shoe store. And I got a lot of shoes there.
Okay, that's...
And then I was very lucky. I had a very good friend, Asa Moore, who had his own store, and he was a brilliant buyer and everything. He got me the most luxurious jewelry from designers in New York because he could get it wholesale, and Oh,
wow.
Tula would look good. And I was going to put some on today, but I didn't. I had some earrings. I was just going to be funny.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm in the process. I've got all of my costumes out to my niece's house. We've gone through them. They're in excellent condition. No sweat stains or anything.
sweat stains.
Well, I did. I took care of my costumes.
Yeah,
I washed them, and
wigs too, right?
oh, I got so many wigs. Oh, and jewelry. And so we're going. There's one lady that wants to make quilts out of my costumes, which I thought was really cool.
That's cool, but I don't know.
Yeah,
What
that's
about? So now the Fort Wayne gay bar, which is where I kind of came out. That's where I met you, and or many people that know you and things like that. What about handing them down? I'd rather them still get use.
Well, I'm going to let people choose if they want some of them.
Sure.
My gowns are different than what they wear today. You got to remember,
All right.
I was
All right.
very elegant. I'm using that term boldly because I was elegant, because I was a strip artist, and we did all the beautiful hand movements and the slow and the flowing gowns and all this
And
stuff.
the ballerina. Didn't you say you did ballet?
I did ballet too, and that was all incorporated in things. And I did the old standard songs, "This Is My Life" and Carole King's "You've Got a Friend," and "Midnight Train to Georgia," and put a little bump and grind.
Can you describe your music taste?
I love everything. I
You
don't
really
like
do?
rap,
Okay.
and not because I don't like anybody talking to me with their fingers in their hand.
Sure, sure.
I want to hear the words and
Yes, yes.
and what they mean. I know I'm not prejudiced about that. I love them and admire.
Yeah.
Too much going on.
I understand.
Too much stuff going on. I like beautiful things.
Okay.
I like Barbara Streisand, Shirley Bassey. They come out in gorgeous gowns and coats and sing, and they got that, that little making love to their body and singing. And so I did a lot of that kind of stuff. When I first started doing drag, all we could do was walk around a bar. It was in Chicago, and we hustled champagne, and we got little sticks to put in our glasses, and that's how we were paid. And that was back, you had to wear an article of men's clothing like jockey shorts and stuff like that.
Excuse me?
Oh yeah. There's
Why?
laws even still today about impersonation. And in fact, Indiana had one for a long, long time, and they did away with it years ago. I don't remember.
So you
when.
are impersonating a woman, but you have to at least underneath there wear men's underwear or something?
Right, and I got busted for that down in Florida.
They checked your underwear?
Oh yeah.
What?
I was on stage bumping and grinding, and I thought he was tipping me, and it was a gold badge. We ended up in jail, and I had my own hair, and he's pulling, "Get that wig off of your head, that hat off of your head." And I said, "That's my hair, honey." So we got an OT. That's not a town.
That was you didn't wear a wig?
No, I wore my own hair.
Okay.
Because I was a hairdresser too, and
You had long hair though?
oh yes, 17
Okay.
inches long. And they said, "You got overnight to get out of town, you know."
Because you were wearing men's underwear and
Not having them on. I had other stuff on, that, like strip panties, which I wasn't supposed to be wearing.
okay, I'm gonna.
Are you confused?
No, I just have a question.
What did you do with
so, well, you're on the right track. So I know a lot of drag queens this day and age do
Gafting.
pin it back, but define gafting for me.
It's painful, and some people don't have to do that.
Why? Because they're just smaller.
Right. And
So if they're bigger, they have to. Is
they-
it literally pushing it backwards?
Yes. And like the Indians used to do, they could invert it, stick it back into their stomach, and then they put the duct tape and all of that on them.
And that stuff hurts, by the way.
Hurts.
Yeah.
I never used anything. I never did anything like that. I did have when I worked for the doctor, I did get a little hormone shot to make my breast a little bigger, but I went back to the testosterone and got that out of my system in a big hurry.
So you never
I never
wanted
did
to be
anything.
a woman.
No.
Let's clarify that. Okay, so part of this show is educating. Okay.
Okay.
It's telling your story, but also educating the world about.
I am and was all of my life in what they call drag, a female impersonator, and I impersonated not a particular person. I would take a piece of music that I loved, and I would put that to my feeling of it, and that's what I would interpret to the audience.
That's very neat. That's very neat. I like that explanation of it. Okay, do you think, can you give me an example of how drag has changed over the years?
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's scary. And RuPaul did it. RuPaul is a bully and has ruined it for these kids.
Why? Can you tell me why?
Why? Because of her attitude and the way she talks to. I know you've seen RuPaul and how
Sure.
they talk to them people. I'm not a dog.
I'm trying to get to the heart of what it is that you don't like about it, though.
I don't like anybody.
Is it the contest? It's a contest with RuPaul.
It's a contest, but look what they
Putting
have
each
to
other
go
down
through.
sometimes.
Yeah, and I don't like that. We've been put down all of our damn lives.
Oh God.
And
yeah.
why go on national
Good
television? And the other thing with these new drag queens, and I've seen some of the kids that are at After Dark. In fact, I hired most of them, not these newer bunch ones, but I saw so much talent in Bianca Santana, who I think wrote you a note. I saw in her, that gift and that love of that's what she wanted to do, and she was a lady on stage.
Oh, you know who my favorite one was? My favorite drag queen, really, true, this is true, you guys. Misty Knight.
Oh my God! I have it right here in this thing. She won my Brazilian award, and Misty and we worked together.
She was classy. She was classy.
Well, we worked together as burlesque queens here at Gibson Girl and at the we worked together, and that's how I got to know Misty. That's my
Is she from Fort Wayne?
No, Dayton. God
Okay.
rest her soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got a. It's so funny you say that. I just got a call from her sister. She has a beautiful, big, large painting like mine, and wanted to know if we'd be interested in hanging in the bar. But right now, I hear there's another little squabble of somebody else that wants their picture hanging on the wall. Not mentioning any names.
This happens. Look, this happens. This happens.
My picture is hanging there because when I moved, I had no place to put it.
I understand.
And it was done by somebody we loved dearly. She did it with, that painting is done all with felt tip pins. She did it with a lot of love. I got it on my 50th birthday. And so that's why Leo let them hang the painting in the bar.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Tula Awards that they're giving out now?
I started the Tula Awards back in, I think, I don't know the exact date. I'm not good with dates. But anyway, the Tula Awards, I would pick 2 or 3 people that I was close to and watched the shows to pick out entertainers. And we had different categories: best country, best dancer, best ballads, this and that, the best all over talent. And I got a trophy for them and presented it to them.
Very nice.
And I done that, and last year was the first year I missed it. And so Nick revived it for this year, which I was really proud of, keeping my name alive. I said, thank you. And they were very special. I got people to call. I still have my Tula Award. And I'm so glad that they do. And I think it was a very thing. They worked their asses off, and to be recognized, they're not recognized. They're either told off by some smart ass in the audience or, there's some kind of flippantness. And I don't like any of that. That if you have a problem with Charles Tula Miller, you come to me and we'll hash it out.
Sure.
I'm a listener. And that's why I got so close to Leo, and that's why I had the responsibility that I did with After Dark. And to be there 33 years, I think is quite a compliment.
Yeah, I've been at their couple locations, not the original, obviously. But so it was my first. I came out at 32 years old, and After Dark served a huge purpose in my life.
And I got to. Leo is such a wonderful, generous person. And this is not bullshit. People know that. He has given so much to our community and to organizations, and stuff. And he really, I have a whole different mode of operation than he does.
Yeah.
And
that happens.
The minute he walks in, everybody's all jumping over. And so he had to say, go see Charles. Go see Charles. And so the next thing I know, Charles was in charge, and I became his confidant. and still am. I listen to him no matter what time he calls, and try to be respectful.
And you eventually sold your bar, is that
yes,
right?
Yes. And Leo got it.
Leo, good. Yeah, he
Yeah.
still has it.
Yes.
Right.
Still
Yes.
have it. Yeah, I don't know if you saw our 40th anniversary paper. It give a lineage of all the people that thought they had gay bars in Fort Wayne, but they really didn't. I mean, there were a lot of straight people that opened up.
I think that's normal though. Any towns like that.
Oh yeah.
And Fort Wayne's
It's a
just
gay
right
bar.
there at that right size. It's not too big. It's not too small. So in the gay community, for the audience here, you really get to know the gay community is a whole nother world, in my opinion.
It's a potpourri of life.
Oh, I like that.
It's there's so many different things that happen with it, and the thing that bothers me most right now, and has been since maybe the last 6 or 7 years, the young gay people are so angry, and
Do you
they're
think
angry.
that's-
They're angry because there's nothing for them to do. And can we stop talking and have a drink of water?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. You can drink while you're filming.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been drinking my tea. We're calling this tea with Tula, by the way. Do you need a break though? Okay.
Thank you.
You
This
can even
lady's
set this
talking
here.
to
Let's talk about this right here. That's sitting where your water could be sitting if you want.
Okay, where do we leave? Well, I wanted to say about the gay and the drags because
You said they're angry.
well, but you were saying they were different.
Mhm.
To me, a drag queen, and you can watch them, and you can pick out from the music they're doing, and they try to be a copy of them. They're not an individual. They're stealing, not stealing.
That's an
but-
impersonation, though, isn't it?
Well, in a sense, but to do it, to do it right on spot, it's sort of unfair. I want you to do your own interpretation. If I give you a song, "Proud Mary," I don't want you to do it just like Tina Turner, unless you're
Okay.
impersonating Tina Turner. I want you to do what you feel, with
So what you're saying is you want it to be your own individual art.
Yeah, and then they went to the crazy makeup, the
You're right.
high, the
Compared to
Nike-
your photo right there, which I'll post on our video, by the way, you look very natural there.
and that's the way I worked.
And Tula, that is okay. So I have an art degree, by the way. So I love art, mostly visual arts. But I think what you're explaining here is just a difference in art styles and generations, sure.
I think so. There's that Misty Night Award. I saved it. This is sort of a fun thing you might want to talk about. This was my chauffeur, and they caught him trying to dance with me. He never had seen me in drag. But there's a, this is a painting they did of me, Jackie Carroll.
That's a painting?
That's a painting
I'll
of me.
post that up.
And,
Wow. Oh, show this. Is that a real time?
I wish. Let's see, what does it say? Tula talks about the support of the local AIDS benefit.
Let me show that one to the camera. That really is you.
You see me on the front. picture.
I find that absolutely fascinating. That's beautiful. Yeah, I'll post that.
And this is the certificate from the Jefferson Award. And this here is sort of fun. Can you read it from there?
The Oh, I'll Do That award,
Yeah.
presented to Charles Miller, for
And-
your tireless efforts in every aspect of organizing the first annual Northeast Indiana AIDS Walk. You did that? You organized the
Yep.
first, you rallied. And this was in 1997.
Yeah.
Let's talk about AIDS. It's very dear to your heart, I know that.
It's very dear to my heart.
You tell me, you talk. I know AIDS is a big, big...
I was in the medical field, and the first two people that I found out that had AIDS were people that traveled back and forth to New York. And there was a doctor in New York named Dr. Ann. She was brilliant. And they came back to Fort Wayne. Of course, there's nobody to take care of them.
This is what you're... Get a nice time frame for everybody.
Let's say 82.
Would you say 82-ish was the
Yeah,
start?
yeah.
Because I'm a 90s kid, so for me it was early 90s. Like with Ryan White, I remember that.
Yeah.
I really remember that.
And there was some of that. I do too. But anyway, what happened was these people kept coming back and no one to treat them. And I was sitting at the halfway house. We were doing a little video thing on all my children too, or something like that. Michael Drudge, who was a minister, and we got a call that this kid was at Lutheran Hospital, and they didn't know what was wrong with him. We knew what was wrong with him, and they put him outside, and it was 5 degrees outside, with a paper gown and those paper things over his shoes. Well, we ran and got him as quick as we can, got him over to the house, warmed him up, got him dressed. I called my doctor, and my doctor admitted the first AIDS patient to St. Joe Hospital. And that was when they were still putting the trays outside the door.
And this
I'm
is
not
in
going
Fort Wayne,
into that.
Indiana.
Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm not going into that queer room. He's got that queer
Oh, man.
disease, and it was sad.
But nationwide, this is starting.
All over, yeah.
Yes, yes,
all over.
yes.
So the only thing they had was AZT, and they weren't even sure about what that was doing. But they, the one friend was Lebanese, and the carcinoma, the thing on the legs, is a trait of Mediterranean men. And this doctor was doing radiation, and he was burning his legs up. And they were just, it was just so sad. So I took care of him. I was going to put the ring on. He gave me a beautiful ring that it's a carnelian like this, but it's square the night before he died. I don't want to jump
Can I
ahead
see
of it.
the ring?
And
It's beautiful.
that's got a male cameo on it. That's what makes it unusual.
Wow.
And anyway, I went to take care of him, and his sister called and said, "Can you come sit with him tonight? We have to go to an important church meeting or something." And I said, "Yeah." I never said no to anything if I could be of help. And when I got there, he asked me if I could read the Bible to him. And I'm in this very elegant house. I mean elegant. And I see bookshelves, and I'm looking to see, well, there has to be a damn Bible here someplace. And there wasn't. And so I picked up a book. And if I said it once, I said it 500 times. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." And he kept saying, "Oh, that's so beautiful." And he would pat on my head. One of the things I learned with him was everybody wanted to come hug the patient. Oh, you couldn't do it. You would break their bones. They were so fragile. They looked like skeletons.
Yeah, but did we know it was AIDS at this point?
No.
Oh, okay, that's important to the story.
They still
okay.
haven't put a name with it.
Okay.
And so anyway, he just kept going downhill, and then they were doing trying all kinds of things, antibiotic things, and they still didn't know what it was. So it became the queer disease, of course.
Well, they just blamed it on the gays.
And that's why I'm so frustrated today. HIV/AIDS was a panic epidemic here in the United States. We've got it under control, in a sense, with medicine.
Yes.
I don't understand these people that are saying, "No, I'm not going to do this." I know that there has to be somebody in their life that's been affected by HIV/AIDS or COVID and saw them die, and why can't they vaccination?
Well, science
Science my
solved
ass.
AIDS. No. I'm saying because of science, we have AIDS under control. Would you agree with that?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
And the medication that.
And that's just what we're trying to do with COVID. Yeah.
I didn't mean to sound so flippant about that, but I took care of several. I had one kid that was a crier and a hugger, and he would cry and his tears would drop in my eyes.
You're working in the medical field this time.
Yeah, and I'm scared to death. I'm scared to death because.
And they're telling you it's a gay man, gay men. By the way, gay women apparently weren't affected by AIDS.
Well, they were later on.
Right.
But it was usually through blood transfusion. But he was crying in my eyes, and I'm thinking, "Oh, dear God, dear God." You know, and I would get up after he'd go back to his room and go wash my face and everything. I was scared I was going to get it. That was the only time I was ever afraid.
Wow.
Because I wanted to try to, as I say, I'm a real good listener, and I'm a real good talker. I guess you found that out. And
you have a lot to say. You have a wonderful experience.
I wanted him to know that he was loved, His parents didn't know, so I got to break the news, not only that he was a gay man, but that he had a very terrible disease. And then I had to tell his grandparents, because the grandparents became the caregivers of the people that had HIV. So I watched it develop and the things happen.
And watched the gay community get demonized for it.
Not only demonized, but here we had organization, the AIDS Task Force, that had some shady people, and they didn't like me because I knew too much, and I had questions. I wanted to know. And Jack Ryan came along, who was absolutely unbelievable, and now they have Jeff Markey that's taken over. There was some that really didn't belong there. They weren't really there for the right reasons, and I hate that. And they told me that I was just too outlandish and overbearing to be a part of it. Well, I spoke at Sal Wood at the kids, and I went out there and I said, I hope you kids understand how dangerous this is, and it's not a gay man's disease. It can be anybody. I was trying to explain to these kids how overwhelming the disease was to. They had no idea of the destruction that did to their body.
But you were trying to make a point that
right.
The difference between queer and gay. Personally, I like the term queer. By the way, I don't.
Oh yeah, and it should have never changed.
But it's.
And that's the name of a book, When Gay Was Queer.
Interesting.
So, and you'll find that in the Human Library.
Wow.
Of which I think I have a.
All right, sorry about that. We are back. Nice little snack break, and Tula is telling me about the library. Go ahead, take it there, Tula.
I joined the Human Library, and which is world renowned now. It was started back in the let me see. I have to check since 2000, and this was the award they gave me for my book.
You wrote a book?
Well, I have to explain to you what the Human Library is. The Human Library is something like we're doing right now. You come in, I'm the book, you sit down with your questions, and I answer them for you. We talk about
What year was that?
This is still going on.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the Human Library, and if you look at Human Library Fort Wayne, Indiana, you'll see a lot more.
Charles, what, if we had to write a list of the things that you're proud of in your life?
Well, that's funny that you say that. I guess the proudest thing was that I was able to take care of my mother for 3.5 years.
Of all the things you've done. I mean, that's wonderful, by the way.
Okay,
but it's beautiful, actually.
The other thing is, I think when I got the mayor made it Charles Miller Day, I thought that was...
There is a Charles Miller Day.
April 29th.
April 29th. Oh my goodness.
That I was very proud of.
Wow.
And of course the Jefferson Award.
I'm going to read it to you guys. City of Fort Wayne, Indiana, Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas Charles has done a lot with the gay community in Fort Wayne, having been a mid-pioneer plowing the way through adversity for our gay community. We would not have the community that we have today in Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's pretty neat. Over the years, Charles has organized and executed many successful AIDS benefits. And at After Dark nightclub, which is the bar in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And he has raised millions of dollars to support our local positive resource connection. This valuable resource provides free and confidential HIV testing to all in the community and provides resources from afflicted with AIDS. And Charles Miller has been a mentor to the gay community through leading it by example. Charles used to host Tula Talks. Well, that's interesting. Tula Talks at After Dark in the afternoons to educate those in the community about what it is like being gay in the Fort Wayne in the 60s and the 70s. Charles has a long memory, and that is true. And people would come to Tula Talks just to listen to the history of Fort Wayne and what it was like being LGBT. And Charles Miller is well respected in the community for providing female entertainers a safe space to practice their craft. Behind the walls of After Dark, he created an atmosphere where all were accepted and loved for who they are, regardless of their sexual preference and/or preferred pronouns. Charles, aka Tula, is the reason that we have the community and resources that we have today. I agree with that. Charles's dream is to have this day named after him because he did open the first gay bar in Fort Wayne on, here we go guys, April 29th, 1979.
71.
It says 79 here.
Yeah, I know, and they're going to do the thing over. It was 71.
Well, that's annoying. April 29th, 1971. This man right here opened the first gay bar in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Charles, that to me is just phenomenal. I almost feel like it's just so much a part of your story that you just don't even realize how rare that is.
Well, yes, I think I do. But I'm very proud of it.
This is amazing. I'll definitely show a picture of this.
And I'm very honored.
That's pretty neat.
The other thing that blew me away was on my 80th birthday, Ben Giannaquini sent me a happy birthday thing from the state of
wow!
Indiana.
Yeah, is he a governor? Was he a governor?
No, he was, I don't know what his...
House Democratic leader, district leader.
And I was...
Phil Giannaquini.
Yeah, I was in ballet.
But there's a Ben too, right?
Ballet with his daughter. So I don't know how I got that. But I'm the oldest. I was the oldest still working female impersonator until I've had this set.
How long has it been since you've...
That's been 2 years.
That's it? Just 2 years?
About 2.5.
You did your last drag show 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Seriously? I bet I was there. No, I haven't drank in 3 years.
But anyway, the Jefferson Award, the thing from the mayor, of course, and this honor here, I think the thing that really excites me was this. Can we go to this book here now?
Mm-hmm.
This book was given to CEOs and new companies that come to town, and they asked me if they could take a matchbook-sized cover picture of me just to put in it, and I said I said no, I don't care.
What is that?
I'm going to show you.
I'm learning so much today, you guys. This is great.
Here's my doggy, Savannah, one of our preps for the show on.
Are you an animal person?
Oh my God, yes. Am I still on?
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't have this mark.
Oh, it's okay, it's okay. While you're finding that, I'll ask you some of my questions.
Okay.
I have just I do this with a lot of my guests. I just like to have some random questions while you're flipping through that and finding what you're going to find there. Tula, what was your very first car?
A Mercury. I didn't drive until I was 27.
Yeah?
I bought a car at 11 o'clock, and at 6 o'clock I was in Louisville, Kentucky, and the brakes went out, and I landed on the Baptist church steps.
What year was that Mercury, do you know?
Oh my God, it had to be a 76 or something. Montclair. Oh, I loved it.
That's interesting because, I like to have a yellow Mustang because I am the 5-point hoe. Everybody knows that. I'm a car girl, so anytime I'm filming with someone, you have to have a yellow Mustang in the picture. So this is what I picked for you, Tula. This is a Mustang. It's a 76. You just mentioned 76, so
oh, wow.
I picked right for you.
Yeah.
No offense to you, but that is hideous. I'm sorry about cars in the 70s. Oh, wow. Look at this.
This was supposed to be...
This is you.
It was supposed to be a match size
That's you.
picture. That's me. And my cat Sylvester.
Oh,
and
my
then
goodness.
There's something written down there.
The Embassy Theater. What are you...
It tells
the
about
lights?
me right down there.
I'll read it and then I'll show you guys the picture.
Okay.
The lights gleam brightly at the Fort Wayne renovated Embassy Theater. If you ever get to Fort Wayne, the Embassy Theater is beautiful, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But especially so during the holiday season. Aglow year-round, local philanthropist and female impersonator Charles Tula Miller has established a reputation as a tireless fundraiser for AIDS education and prevention. This is beautiful. Wow. Wow. That is beautiful. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. That is really neat. Did you ever, I'm going to lose the page, is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, okay. Did you ever want to leave Fort Wayne? Why Fort Wayne, I guess? I know you were born and raised here.
I did leave Fort Wayne.
Yeah?
I went to Louisville. I went to beauty school in Louisville. I lived with my favorite sister down there, and I performed down there. And I did I love Fort Wayne. I've always loved Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne's a very, very nice town, believe it or not. And I've seen the ups and the downs of it.
Sure.
The good and the bad and the ugly. And, you know, I've overcome all of that because I was a mouthpiece and screaming.
Obviously, you've got the...
And I've always liked Fort Wayne. There's a lot of giving people, and I think they prove that at our benefits about how helpful they are. But the things that I see on my Facebook that, oh, I remember you, my grandpa and grandma used to come see you and
wow.
stuff like that. And that's such a great feeling.
You love that.
Yeah, I do.
You should. You deserve that. You absolutely deserve that.
And the judge's wife, Jane Serbuck, she calls me Dickie because my name is Charles Richard.
Oh, okay.
And my mom called me
I was
Dickie.
wondering where the Dickie came in.
That's where it came in. So she always said that, and I babysat for her daughter, and she always is putting something smart. So, not only, where do you want to go from here?
I'm going to ask you some random questions, if that's okay.
Okay, and then I'll ask you, or I'll show you some more stuff.
You flip through that as I ask you questions. If you find something in there you want to talk about.
This is where the FBI closed our bar. I still have that. But
United States government seizure. Why? This is what you went to prison for.
Yeah. No. This is when they wouldn't give us our license.
Oh, that's right.
Because that man owed them taxes.
But not you.
And this was my fan club from England. They came over to a wedding, and one of the police officers, Amy, brought them to the bar, and they just fell in love because I did a Shirley Bassey song. They sent me, I still have Shirley Bassey things that I can't play because I don't know how to convert them to American stuff. So I'll learn.
I have a question for you then. What celebrity death, particularly at this time, affected you the most?
Death?
Yeah, a celebrity death at this time when you were performing.
Well, God, there were so many, but I think I can't help but thinking through my life the worst was John F. Kennedy, the president.
Where were you at when he was?
In Texas.
Hold on. That is seriously a question on here. I was going to ask you where you were when JFK was shot.
Yeah. And,
you were in Texas.
Yeah. I was living in Richardson, Texas, and 2 blocks behind me, Oswald lived. And his wife was a nurse.
Man.
And I couldn't even ride past that place still. And I came back to Fort Wayne on the El Capitando train, and I met these 2 Mexican prostitutes who got me drunk on scotch. I don't drink. And I teased their hair for Jesus and made them beautiful. So we became friends all the way to Chicago. But that's probably one of my saddest days. And currently, there's so many politicians that I really love, but that have passed. But Betty White, the killer.
That was just a few weeks ago.
And she was such a giving person.
She was a great person.
Not only for animals, but she loved our community.
She did.
And she fought for us. And that was quite a blow, especially because we were building up to her 100th birthday. There's so many. There's so many of my entertainer friends that died. I just lost one, Tiffany Middlesex, which worked for me. We had a love-hate relationship, but I loved her to death. And I saw that she was still working at 70 years old,
wow.
with her little push cart. And Misty, of course.
Misty Knight,
was a great blow. Ginger Manchester, unbelievable. I just talked to her minutes before her death. And then her husband dying about 4 hours later. It's those kind of things they're just in you. Of course, my mother's death was not the worst thing, because I took care of my mother night and day because she needs skilled nursing. And my brothers and sisters there was such a change in her because she was a stout woman, but that she went down to skin and bones,
Okay.
and they couldn't stand. And I can remember my mother saying, "Dickie, can't those girls help me?" I said, the doctor showed me how to drape her and clean her and stuff like that. The undertaker said, cleanest body they'd ever seen, which I was really glad. But when she died in my arms, I actually felt her go. And I walked out into the dining room, and it was just like a weight had been lifted off of my shoulder. And I went over and did all the things that you're supposed to do at funerals, but I couldn't go to her funeral. I went over and I put a note in her hand because I cried with her. I had suffered with her, and I got her a little baby. She couldn't understand the pacemaker thing. If you had surgery, they're taking something out of you, but they put something in her. And so I got a little doll that had a heartbeat, and she would feel that. And she was talking to that doll, so I ended up getting a little tape recorder, and she'd say, "Oh, honey, I'm so hungry. Oh, honey, I got a potty," And that's how I survived. And of course, how old people hoard their food when they're sick, and I'd have to clean it so she wouldn't choke to death. But I'll never regret that. I wanted to be a geriatric nurse, and I went to one of the best job offers ever at the Episcopal home down in Louisville. Everybody looked like my mother.
Aww.
I couldn't do it.
Aww.
I could not do it. I wanted to be combing their hair. I had to do her hair every day. I wanted to be putting lotion on them, and it just took the air out of me. But I'll never, ever regret doing it.
What do you regret?
In my life,
Sure.
I'm regret that they didn't get to live to see some of the accomplishments that I got to do. I think
that's a great answer.
I think that they. My dad, I know, would have been happy. My dad worked at the Harvester for 38 years and dropped dead 2 weeks later because the pace of the job was.
Harvester was.
Yeah.
As far as Fort Wayne's history, Harvester
my whole
is
family
really high up
all
there.
worked at the Harvester, but my mother and me, and I didn't fit in with their personality. And I wished I would have known. I wish that would have happened to me today when there's the laws, because when I went back to get my results, she says, "We don't hire your kind."
Wow.
I'll never forget that lady as long as I live. Tower personnel.
Charles, tell me something, and I really want your answer on this because I'm going through my own health situation. I'm 42 years old, and I had my third back surgery, and part of the reason I started this show is because I can't play sports anymore, so I needed something. Tell me something that time has taught you.
Not to take everything so serious.
Really?
Yeah. Be your own person. Be honest. No matter what you're talking about, don't exaggerate or embellish it. Tell it the way it is. And if you hurt, let them know you're hurt and you're bothering me. If it's their voice, if it's their grabbing your hand or anything, let them know you're hurting me right now. Don't be afraid to say anything that...
So be your own advocate?
Yeah. Because you know what? There are a lot of people that claim to be your advocate, but I sometimes think they're devils in wolf's clothing. I mean,
Well, and we got
let me tell you,
media and everything else, and it's where you get your information from.
And that brings up a good thing. Let's talk about the media.
Sure.
Were you satisfied with what
I think that's a wonderful answer.
Okay.
You do have to speak up for yourself. Don't take anything for granted.
And people don't. One of the things, not only was I a police character when I was young, and the police were always changing me, there goes that queer, let's stop him and harass him, which they did. So I was a police character. I never cooperated with them. They stopped me and asked me for a story. I'd give them a cock and bull story.
But you knew which officer was on the down low. On the down low, y'all know what that means,
yes.
right?
I hope they do. Anyway, there's me getting ready and dragged right in front of the audience at Tulisa's. You can get sort of an idea.
Wow, that's awesome.
Anyway, I'm going to show you a few things right here.
Write the years on your photos there.
Tula Talks I did for, well, first of all, I wrote Tula Talks for the Coffee Break and the Voice, which turned into the Frost newspaper. And there, you can look, these are so fragile, but you're welcome to look at them.
Oh. Boy, I'm so glad photography's come a long way since then. Is this you, not in drag?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'll post that one.
And here's and then for the After Dark, this was a newsletter. That was me, part of Tula Talks. This is where I really, this is the love of my life. Nancy Venderly. She wrote a story. She followed me around for 4 weeks. And this made the front page of the paper, which made a lot of people's heads swim. And my picture was bigger than the mayor's. And
yeah, wow.
And she was
October 18th, 1992.
Yeah.
So this is the Fort Wayne newspaper?
Yes, the Journal Gazette.
And they got you putting your makeup on?
Yep. So the Journal.
That's neat.
There was a writer.
They say his life, his way. Charles Miller's talent has been sexual disguise. I don't like that term. I don't like that at all.
Oh, it was fun back then. Anyway, John French, who was a wonderful writer, he just fell in love with me for some reason. And so I told him I wanted to meet. I got into it with Steve Shine. Hey, Steve Shine, take me out to the ball game.
Oh, yeah.
And they took me out there.
That's a Fort Wayne photo if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. And here, they compared me. I was one of the most intriguing people in Fort Wayne. What do these men have in common? And he was the head of the school board. And then inside of it, it has all the other people. And Steve Shine wanted to know why he wasn't.
I can tell you.
I can tell you. He's not one of my favorites.
Right.
But anyway, that was it. They did that one. Let's see. Then they came to my house. Have I got too much stuff?
No. I'm going to ask you a question while you're going through that. Did you ever want children?
No, but I love children.
Yeah?
Oh, they got all my grandmas and my iron skillets.
You.
And so all of these were on front page in the Journal Gazette.
This is amazing. This is amazing.
This is the most fun one. This was during the AIDS. I went to straight bars with my condom hat on and passed out condoms.
Nice.
And I was trying to find. Oh, this is a letter where I got into it with the bishop and the rescue mission. I was.
Well, that kind of leads me into another question. I know you believe in peace and uniting, which I agree with you on, by the way. But there had to be times where peace wasn't available, if you know what I mean.
Oh my God!
Have you been? Tell me some of the roughest moments you've experienced with.
Walking down Harrison Street and somebody called me a queer, and I had the Grand Chobe scepter in my hand, and I said, "Come here, young man," and call me that again, and he did, and I hit him in the side of the face with it, and made a nice indentation, and we became best of friends. But I wasn't afraid to confront people. I wasn't afraid like so many gay kids, they're going to get the last word. I wasn't like that. Don't take me down a dark alley, because I'm not going to go. However, gay men, I don't know how the women are, but gay men have that element of danger.
Oh, I 100% agree.
They want to go to
100% agree with you.
The seediest bars.
Mm-hmm,
they want to look at the seediest person, and I don't know if they're seeing good in them or bad, but I weigh all of that real quick,
Yeah.
I'm not going to get involved in something that I don't want to get up. And I really was never, I was afraid of the police because they had done so much stuff and pushed me down steps and harassed me and stuff like that.
Did you, as a white man though, did you ever have privilege. I don't know if that's the right way to answer that or to question that, but I mean, if you were a black man at that time,
They would have shot me.
that was my question.
When I
Wow,
got in
wow.
trouble, and they told me my father had to come get me. I went into a bar or something, and this policeman came over to us and says, "Do you know your son is a black cocksucker?" My dad says, "Is that what he's here for?" And he says, "No, but that's where we found him, in a black bar." So, because that's where I went. I could sneak in and out and just love it.
Why is that where you went?
Because gay people get by with murder in the black bars. They didn't check your ID and stuff like that.
I get it.
So
All right.
that's where we went and had fun. The chocolate bar, Alpha's back in Luncheonette, and the Club Andre and the Club Hollywood. All of those things. We did that. I was a sneaker arounder.
A sneaker arounder.
Mom, I'm going to the library.
Oh.
Don't lie to me.
Okay, this is a question on my list. Where's the craziest place you've had sex at?
The craziest place I have had sex, I think, I don't know that it was crazy, it was scary. I got into a car with somebody, and they took me way, 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 way out by where Covington is now, in a wooded area.
Mm-hmm.
And everything was going fine, and then all of a sudden, he sort of turned,
Ooh.
which is very scary. And I think it was the only time ever I was ever scared, other than the first time a man tried to kiss me. And
What? You're going to have to tell that now.
and anyway, I told the man, I says, "You see those lights right back there?" I said, "I have no idea why you chose to come here, but that's my aunt." I said, "I can get out of the car and start screaming and give her your license number, have her call the police, or you can take me back to where you got me." And of course, there was no conversation as he took me back downtown and dropped me off where it was.
That was not a fun story. I was hoping for a fun story on that one.
Well, the fun story was there was so, you had to be so careful where you cruise, because back then, in my early time, not the latest time, I don't know. I would say that when the first time that I really realized that there was more than oral sex to sex, and which that was all I was interested in, and I'm not ashamed to admit that.
Yeah, it's all right.
This man wanted to kiss me. He was a teacher, very good looking, and he took his hand and was going to hold my hand. I thought he was going to choke me, and I started screaming.
Wow.
Like a maniac. He said, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" I said, "Oh, you're going to kill me. Let me go. Let me go." And I took off running.
Wow. Wow.
So that was sort of a scary little thing.
We're back. Sorry about that.
Well,
A little noise interference.
Jen, I thought this was Tula, or tea with Tula, and you're serving pineapple. Where's the crumpets, the tea and crumpets?
I'm a butch lesbian. You gotta put together a tray of fruit, and I bought the tea this time. Normally I make my own tea, though. I am very into my tea.
The fruit was excellent.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Tell me about this. We just discovered this.
Oh, this was, when I won the Jefferson Award, you were supposed to be able to get to go to Washington, D.C. if you were one of the big winners. And when they did the FBI check, because I was a felon, I couldn't go in the
That's
Justice
ridiculous.
Building. Yeah. So, I got this, this is a card from Bill Clinton,
Oh, interesting.
and that I got from them.
Congratulations on your nomination for the 1999 President's Service Award. Although you were not chosen as an award recipient this year, I applaud your spirit of service. You represent America at its best, serving as a beacon of light to many, addressing our country's social ills, and reinforcing our nation's values of community responsibility and opportunity. On behalf of the American people, I thank you for your commitment and dedication. Bill Clinton, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. See, this is why I want to do this interview with you. I want to get the history of Fort Wayne out and educate, and I got to start with you.
I wrote for the readers of the Gate paper, and I think it might be important for you to read this.
Okay.
So the reason I want you to read it is because people thought that this was a game with me, that I was trying to grab the spotlight. So can you read that?
This is from the Rainbow Reader, August 1998. I had promised to write more about one of my favorite topics, mosh pits, this month, but that is getting sidelined until next month. This month, I want to harp on another favorite topic, drag queens. Tula Talks is not appearing in this paper this month, and I am a little pissed. Not Tula, but at our community. It seems that Tula has been getting feedback that she is trying to be too much in the limelight and wants a hiatus. The problem isn't that Tula is too involved. The problem is that too many people are not involved, leaving work towards social change for only a few. That's
important.
That is so important. This is my giving back to the community. This is you're a really amazing person, Tula.
Well, I don't know about that. I really, everybody's got a story, as you know, from
Sure.
being an interviewer and doing this, and everybody does, and everybody's different. I think the unique thing about mine that people don't realize, they were familiar with, some of them are familiar with Stonewall, some people still don't know what that was, but we had that right here in Fort Wayne.
We did.
I mean, we haven't even touched the iceberg of what really happened, of the people that got hurt and stuff like that, which is, it's not water over the dam, but it's implanted in my head, and it's implanted in other people. I'm so thankful that I'm getting this opportunity to share some of this stuff. It's not because I'm braggadocious. It's not because I've
You're actually quite humble.
done everything, but as I said, I'm working on a book, and not myself. I have a writer, and we're doing pretty well with it. And
Would you like me to share the information of the book on this channel?
Not yet.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
We'll have a book signing on it or something, and you can be there, and we'll have people come and get
I
their
would
book
love to be
signed.
there. Yeah.
And I just want people to know that I'm just a very ordinary, dyed-in-the-wool person. I bleed like you, I poop like you, I cough like you, and I can't say that I really hate anybody. I know that I've had confrontations with people, but I think if you don't in your life, you're reading a pretty boring life, or leading a pretty boring life.
I agree with that. You definitely have not lived a boring life at all.
No, I haven't. And the funny part of it is, which I want the people to know, I had to sneak around to do all this stuff that I did when I was younger. And it's a little more open now. So, but they should take advantage of that. Instead of being angry, come up with some damn ideas to solve the problems,
I did with this show.
Right, and that's so wonderful, because they all got. I can't even call his name, but I think he's Miss After Dark now. A brilliant entertainer. My God, I watch him on the tapes, and I think, where did that all come from? Because he probably had a very rough life, because I bet he was a very effeminate boy or something. And I know the hell they go through.
Yes.
Because still, the problem today, youngsters had youngsters. And the kids that are out, their parents aren't very old. And they really don't understand what it's all about. And that was one of my goals in life, is and I still do, I get calls all the time, to talk to people, to try to explain, and how important it is, love thy child. Listen to them, and you don't have all that screaming and hollering, and try to come up with a happy medium that everybody can accept it. It goes in periods. Sometimes the mothers are real open, and sometimes the fathers are real open. You never know. And I was fortunate. I really was. I told everybody. They said, "When did you come out of the closet?" I said, "My mother crocheted me." And that was always a big standing joke with me. And I think that's so important, that if people would just listen and embrace and see, because these kids have talent. They really do. Not only drag queens, but some of the other stuff. I've seen flower designers, and I've seen people do stuff that's just unbelievable.
Very talented.
And
yeah.
a lot of talented people.
Yeah.
And gay people were known for that.
Yeah.
Because they had that extra depth of perception of what was good and what was bad. This was getting awful heavy on my heart.
So I have some more questions for you. What was your most embarrassing moment?
I've had two.
Oh, this is going to be good.
I actually had three. The first one was I was singing Don't You Know, one of my very favorite songs at Julisa's, and a bat flew in my mouth.
A bat, a B-A-T, the animal.
The animal bat. That's the first one.
Okay, how did it...
Well, it was an old barn, so there were bats everywhere.
That's okay.
So they hid around. So, and the audience screaming. I'm thinking they're liking me doing the song, and hell, there was a damn bat flying in my face. And with all my eyelashes, they called me Raggedy Ann because I wore so many eyelashes. And the second time was at Rathskeller. I was working as a real woman. I had my own hair, plus I put a hairpiece in it, and I got caught in a circular fan, and I'm standing there doing it.
Oh, man.
And that was embarrassing.
Did it actually take the wig off?
Yeah, it was going round on the fan.
Did you stop?
I played it right off. I had to. I had no choice. Those people paid money to see me, So
they got their money's worth.
It's all a part of the act, girl. Slow down, Slow down. I wrote that in there.
Oh, wow.
And it was the last one was at Snickers. I was working at Snickers. I did two things out there for Stop AIDS. And on the second one, the first one I had a heckler, and I love hecklers. That's my favorite. That's right up my alley. I've jumped off.
I do not. I've done stand-up comedy before, by the way. No hecklers.
I'd jump off the table right in the middle, or off the stage right in the middle of your table if you get too cute. And this man did. And Kevin was having a shit fit. Tula, I said, let me handle this. He said, oh, God, because he thought he was going to be in a lot of trouble. And I looked down at the man, I belittled him. He got up and left. He had no choice, because I embarrassed the hell out of him.
What did you do?
I can't remember exactly what I said, but I remember he left. The second time was Leo, my attorney, and two of our other good friends were there, and they were sitting right down the stage. And I did my show, and I went back to sit down with Kevin. And when I got up, I started coming off of the stage, off of his little thing, and I fell flat on my face. Lost a fingernail, and I'm laying there, and I've got a velvet dress on. I can't make any friction to get me up, And this lady said, I got your fingernail. I said, hold on to it, because I had a show to do it after dark. And she said, I got it. And then here comes this little tiny man, and I says, and what do you think you're going to do? He said, I'm going to get you up. I said, no, you see that man playing the saxophone back there? You call him over here. And they got me up, of course, and my knees killed me. But that was probably, those three were really embarrassing. And it was really fun. We've looked high and low, because Leo was going to put those on DVD, so we showed him the bar. I found them yesterday.
Oh, wow.
The two original tapes. So I'm going to send them to
Those are the ones that you don't know how to convert yet? Is that
kind of thing.
I'm fascinated that your answers were great, by the way. Those were very good. But all three of them took place as you were Tula.
Yeah.
Tell me something that Charles Miller has been embarrassed. Does Charles get embarrassed?
I don't embarrass easily. I usually make something out of it. People try to call me out on something, and I'll turn it around.
You are good at that.
I want it, no. I think you misunderstood me.
Another question. What grinds your gears? Like, is something that just sends you no patience for?
Ignorance.
I agree with that one. There's a difference between ignorance and stupidity.
There's a big difference.
Yes. Ignorance is you are choosing not to learn more.
Yep.
And that's a great answer. I like that answer a lot. Do you have any hidden talents?
I think I do.
We know a lot of your talents, but what?
I think that I'm a painter,
Really?
I
You
also
paint?
think no, but I'm going to. And I think I'm a sculptor, hence my little thing of clay that I've been.
Yeah, that was for. But you said that was for.
That's physical therapy.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
So I think those, but I'm a frustrated singer. I would love to be able to sing.
Do you actually sing? I mean, you're
Oh,
already good
I
at
used to be able to sing, and I was in choirs and everything. And I remember one time I was at Pride, and I wanted to sing so bad, and I had given a reading, and I was sitting there. I said, "I'm going to be back tonight, and I'm going to be a singer." They said, "Well, give us a little taste of it." One of my favorite songs is "Someone Left the Cake Out in the Rain."
Who sings that?
Oh, Donna Summers.
Okay.
And it goes like, "Someone left the cake out in the rain. I don't think that I can take it." And I just broke out doing that. And these people just went nuts.
Yeah.
They wanted me to sing more, and I kill it.
Right.
But that's the way I am. Every once in a while I'll break out in a song and think I can do it.
So would you describe when you did drag? You said you did have a lot of dance experience. Was it
a lot of?
It was less singing and more moving and dancing?
At first that's all you could do.
What?
You couldn't pantomime at all. You had to do it. It was all about modeling and beautiful
I
clothes
just
and
did
stuff.
not know that.
Yeah.
I just learned something.
And they had bars in Chicago that were horseshoe. You climbed up there and you walked around. We hustled champagne, and we got a little stir stick, and every time we sold a bottle, and at the end of the night, we turned them in. That's how much money we got.
Wow.
Bee drinking.
Explain beadre. I'm sorry.
That's what it is. You get these crazy fools to buy you something. Buying is being. You got a bee drinker on your hand.
That's really interesting.
And it was
What type of men did you go for usually?
bad boys.
You like the bad boys?
But I was badder than them.
Oh.
My first one, who I really, really loved, and I really thought he loved because he had done so much for me, but he turned to be a snake, and again, my fault. I knew what I was doing, and I thought I had to buy love, and I didn't have to. And my other one was a kid. He was, I met him when he was 17, under the bridge on Tennessee, hadn't eaten. He was working helping at 7-Eleven, would let him stock the shelf. He had a terrible father who lives across the street from where I used to live. And I got him through school. I got him to finish high school. I got him through college. He got a master's degree. I got him in the Army that he ran away twice,
Wow.
AWOL, and I took him back. I bought him everything in God's name. And one day, I said, "This is it." I said, "This is it" to both of them. They both got hit in the head with a frying pan. Dale kicked my window out. Todd was afraid to do anything. He said, "Just don't get that frying pan." I said, "Get out of my house." And it was over.
Wow.
They really weren't my cup of tea. You know,
You were not attracted to gay men?
no. They were attracted to me, though, because they thought I had the moolah, and I owned a bar, and I had a nice car, and I had the pills, and I had everything. Everything that I shouldn't have had.
But you weren't turned on by the gay,
No.
the stereotypical gay man at that time?
Jim Davis was probably the only gay person I was ever with.
We're not talking about the Garfield creator, are we?
No. No, I'll tell you in a minute. And the rest of them were, I always said, I'm a bisexual, I'll buy some every now and then. And I would find a really nice hustler that I knew and knew about their background and stuff, because I had ways of knowing.
What about some celebrity crushes?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Nobody. I'm not a movie person.
Singers?
Imitation of Life, Zippity Doo Dah, which was the first movie I ever saw, Midnight Cowboy, Gone with the Wind, that's it. And now I'm hung up on this new series about women. She lost her son. It's on Thursday night, if you get a chance to look in on it. And I'm hung up on that. But let me tell you about the singers. You said that. We used to hang around the Hotel Van Orman. That's where the gay people congregated out in front and get run off and stuff. And Dick Clark's Caravan of Stars came, and Annette, Laverne Baker, Ruth Brown, the Skyliners, Paul Anka, Bobby Rydell, they were all there. Paul Anka got left behind, and we drove him to the Coliseum. And we said, "Aren't you scared? We might be crazy people." And he said, "No, we're not scared." And we took him. So when I got out there, they got us into the show. The Skyliners, they wanted to fall in love with me. They wanted me to get up and dance with them. Chubby Checkers wanted me to dance with them. And I said, no. I'm not, and I had a chance to do that kind of stuff. But if I had a crush, it was probably them boys in the Skyliners, because they were hotter than hot. And I liked Bobby Rydell. And I like Paul.
I'll have to look him up.
I like Paul Anka because I like his music. And now the end is near. I can just hear him singing it.
Keep going. Sing it.
No, that's okay.
Oh man,
You're
trying
not
to get you to sing.
Get my thing out.
All right. Well, this has been wonderful, by the way.
Don't lie to me.
I am not lying to you.
We didn't talk about the pop.
Let's explain that soda pop or pop
Jan,
soda, whatever.
I'm going to give this to you for being such a good interviewer today.
Aww.
And it's a Tula. I got this on my birthday, and they brought me a case of it. I only have 2 left,
Wow.
and I'm going to part with one to you, and I hope you treasure it.
It's gonna go in my
love.
studio.
Okay.
This is you're gonna see this in my studio, you guys. I'll show it to you here. This is Tula with the cat. That's wow. Thank you very much, Tula.
You're welcome.
I'll treasure this. I really will. I will put it with my '76 Mustang. That will go in my studio, and I'm very honored. I have 2 more questions for you. You've dabbled a little bit in this. I take it back. I got 3 questions for you. I want to backtrack real quick. Do you mind talking about drug use back then? Is that something you're okay talking about?
Yeah, and I think it's very important, and I think it's really important that kids hear it now. Drugs today are real poison. Not only were drugs poison, as I told you, I was a prescription drug addict, but I knew what I was getting. I knew what I was taking. They were clean drugs. If I shot some Demerol, I did it intramuscularly. I didn't do it intravenously. And if I had, if I was taking a pill, it was a pill that had not been tampered with fentanyl or anything. They were clean drugs.
Did you do this? Why did you do this? I guess is what I'm trying to ask.
Why did everybody do all the crazy stuff they did in the 70s? Love. It was love. I did that was to love children and everybody.
By the way, I was alive for 51 days in the 70s. I was born November of
Well,
79.
I think I was a little longer. And I would come in and pass out Quaaludes, and then in 10 minutes, be high as a kite, I close the bar up and take everybody over to my house, and we party all night long. Because that's what, you just fell in love.
Was alcohol ever a problem for you?
I've never drank.
What?
Just that.
Excuse me?
Just the 2 shots of scotch on the El Capitan with the Mexican prostitute.
No, hold on. You owned a bar.
I haven't even tasted beer.
What? Y'all, I got that on camera, you guys.
Yeah, well, they'll tell you that.
Why?
I think it's foolish. I mean, not foolish. I never acquired a taste for it.
Oh, I brewed my own beer. I do love me some beer. But I will agree with you. I think, looking back now, even though alcohol served a purpose in my life, and I'm at peace with everything, I do think it is very harmful in the long, especially, well, short term too,
But again, back to the drug thing. The drugs today are so dirty. I mean, when you see people dying of fentanyl, that their hands are all eaten up,
horrible, horrible.
where they shot up, and not knowing. And they did that at the late. They started putting formaldehyde in pot and stuff like that. Start doctoring it up,
right?
And mescaline and things like that. And that's the thing that scares me. And when I was doing AIDS research and stuff like that, I often told them, these kids that were on drugs because they think that was going to hide the pain. I said, come on out to the nursing home and look at these people laying in the bed and see if that's what you want to do with the rest of your life. And that's what I think they need to do with some of these people that have gone so far out in rehab or in behavioral care or whatever, to let them see the suffering. I don't think people see that other than if you and I were shooting up with, hey, Jan, boy, ain't this fun? Well, I can never understand shooting something up in your arm and puking your guts out was going to make you happy.
Well, there's a difference between
Like
using
heroin.
drugs to party and using drugs to get away from your reality.
Right.
Huge difference. And it sounds like you handled
So
it.
anyway, 39 years ago, I put my pills down. I put my cigarettes down. Haven't had nothing since.
That's fantastic.
So I was happy.
But you were actually a bartender as well,
Oh
right?
my God, yeah.
You
man.
never drank, but you didn't know how your own drinks tasted?
I spit them out if I put them in my mouth.
What?
Yeah, no, you ask anybody.
Oh, I believe you. I'm shocked.
We had little spit cups if we didn't like something, and we could throw out and give it to the bartender, because I just have never been a drinker.
I am just.
I guess one of
flabbergasted
the
by that.
things that taught me a lot about it, but it was way before that, is when I worked for the bar, when I saw some of the people that are the deterioration from not drugs but from alcohol.
True. True.
It's scary and it's sad.
Wow, I'm glad I
And
asked
that's
that. I
not
didn't
me.
know that about you at all. Wow. Okay.
I like Sprite, hot chocolate.
So how did this taste? But it's berry lemonade flavor.
I wouldn't open it. It's so.
Oh, I'm not gonna try it. I know this is going on a shelf, but
Isn't it
I'm sure you drank it. Didn't you try it?
Probably originally.
You said you got a case of it, so.
Yeah, it's not liquor.
I know. Yeah,
What's
it's
it? Is
soda.
it blueberry lemonade or something?
Berry lemonade.
Yeah.
Soda. That's very neat. 2 more questions for you.
The list keeps growing.
Yeah, I might add more. Hey, I just kind of, yeah. I would like you to address the young gays that are watching this. What would you like to tell them?
Number 1, be yourself. Be who you think you are. Promote that. Be very kind to one another. All that bitch fighting and stuff, we don't need it. We got enough of that crap going on in the world. And embrace somebody. Give them a hug unexpectedly. And don't have a fear of older gay men. I'm 82 years old, and I still enjoy hugging a cute little boy that comes up and needs a hug. And if any of you need a hug, I'm good. You know that when I do. You've got a friend. I ask you to come up and get a hug when I'm entertaining. I think it's just so important. Human touch means so much. And this fragile, get away from me, I'm so-and-so, don't mess with me, I don't F around. Open your head up and think what you're saying. And try to show a little compassion to each other. And I think that we'll come a long way.
I like that. My final question to you.
Are you sure?
No. But I really want to ask this to you. After you pass, what would you like your legacy to be? What do you want to be remembered for most?
Let no man write my epitaph.
What does that mean?
That means don't write a bunch of crap about me. But no, I've thought about death. I'm not afraid of death. And I just, at first I was about thinking of getting cremated and all this. My mother didn't want to be buried in the ground, and I respected that. But at the end, she says that she was ready to be buried in the ground, and I was glad because back then we didn't really know that much about cremation and stuff like that. And so now it just looks like that you die, they push you through the oven, and it's all over with. I'm old school, the funeral and the pallbearers and all that stuff. But I would like them to say that, not that I was a saint by any matter of
Well,
means.
no, we're not here celebrating your saintness.
I want them to remember me as a caring, giving person, because I certainly am very caring, and I certainly am very giving. Not only of my knowledge, but physical things too. If somebody needs something, I'm the first one to see if I can help in any kind of way.
I like that. I want you to know, I view you as a legend, a trendsetter. You made it possible for people like me to come out at 32 years old, so that would have been 2012, and it was just as seamless as that can be. I mean, every situation is different, but it's because of people like you that made it normal to go to a gay bar and to, doesn't matter what sexuality you are, what color or what gender you are, you can watch a show by people that have perfected their craft and take it very serious and love what they do. And I thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I hope I wasn't too wishy-washy.
He's so humble, you guys. He's so humble.
And made a bunch of great. I know we jumped around a little, but
That's okay.
we touched a lot of stuff that's important to me, and I hope important to your audience. And I'm very flattered that you thought that I was worthy of one of your interviews.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for doing this show and let me be a part of your life. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Maybe you'll have me back with another part.
Listen, I would love to do that, you guys. With that said, leave comments on this video. Feel free to ask questions. Show your love to Tula.
And I'll answer anything they want to know.
She will. You answered all my questions. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I'll leave all my information, and then I'll get back with you on whether there's questions, and you name it. Find me on YouTube, you guys. Jen Doling, a.k.a. 5.0.